You look back now and it feels like a blur, like a dream you can't quite piece together, doesn't it? The late night talks that felt so deep, the intense connection that felt so real, the beautiful future he hinted at. And then the sudden, jarring distance, the ghosting, the confusion, the silence. You are left with a painful, haunting echo in your heart, asking yourself the same agonizing questions over and over. Was any of it real, or was I just being used? What if I told you that the signs were there all along? Not in a way you could easily see at the time, because you were understandably blinded by hope, by the potential you saw, by the beautiful, intoxicating lies he was selling you. There are subtle, yet absolutely undeniable psychological footprints that a user, a man with no genuine intentions, always inevitably leaves behind. Today we are performing a relationship autopsy. I am giving you 20/20 hindsight right now. I am revealing 6 brutal, specific, psychologically backed signs that he was using you all along. This is not to reopen old wounds, just to cause you more pain. It is to arm you with the powerful, unshakable wisdom to ensure that this never, ever happens to you again. And pay very close attention, because the 6th and final sign is the most insidious, most sophisticated psychological trick of them all. This, ladies, is your never again moment. To understand these signs, you must first and most importantly, understand the cold, hard operating system of a user. A user is not necessarily an evil, mustache-twirling villain. They are often an emotional child, a psychological vampire, operating on one core, selfish principle: attention without intention. They crave your attention. They crave your validation. They crave your emotional support, your physical intimacy, your time, your resources. But they have absolutely zero intention of ever reciprocating with genuine commitment, with real investment, or with consistent, authentic care. They want all the benefits of a relationship with none of the responsibility. To him, you are not a partner to build a future with. You were a resource to be consumed in the present. You were a gas station to refuel his ego when it was running low. You were a hospital to heal his loneliness after a breakup. You were a playground for his boredom on a Tuesday night. The absolute moment that resource, you, was no longer needed, or a better, more convenient resource appeared, he was gone without a second thought. The signs we are about to discuss are all unmistakable symptoms of a man who sees you as a utility, not as a person to be cherished. Sign number 1, inconsistent communication, the hot and cold game. The behavior: he would disappear for days, even a week, leaving you in anxious silence. Then he would suddenly reappear with an intense, almost desperate, "I miss you so much" text, pulling you right back in. The communication was always exclusively on his terms, at his convenience. The potent psychology: this is a classic, powerful manipulation tactic called intermittent reinforcement. It's the exact same psychological principle that makes slot machines in Las Vegas so incredibly addictive. The unpredictable intermittent reward, his attention, is far more addictive and keeps you hooked far more effectively than consistent attention ever could. A man with genuine, consistent interest seeks to build a bond through consistent communication. A user seeks to create an addiction through inconsistent communication to maintain control and keep you perpetually off balance. The truth you were blinded to: his intense "I miss you" wasn't a confession of his deep feelings. It was him putting another coin in the slot machine to keep you playing his game. Sign number 2, vague future plans, the future faking trap. The behavior: he would talk often in grand romantic terms about all the amazing things we could do someday. A trip to Paris someday, meeting his family someday, but he would never ever make a concrete, solid plan for next Saturday. The potent psychology: this is a sophisticated manipulative tactic known as future faking. He is selling you on the beautiful, intoxicating idea of a future to keep you emotionally invested and compliant in the present, with absolutely no intention of ever delivering on those promises. It costs him nothing to promise you a someday that will never arrive. The truth you were blinded to: he wasn't planning a future with you. He was skillfully using the illusion of a future to get what he wanted from you today: your attention, your affection, your intimacy. Sign number 3, the digital, late-night connection. You were his convenience. The behavior, the vast majority of your deep conversations, your moments of connection, happened over text, often late at night, after 10 or 11 p.m. He was rarely, if ever, available for a real daytime date, for a walk in the park, or to be integrated into your actual, real life. The potent psychology: he was seeking the lowest possible effort for the highest possible reward. Texting is easy. Late-night calls are convenient for him when he's lonely, bored, or horny. Integrating you into his real life, meeting his friends, his family, being seen with you in the light of day, is high effort and signals real, tangible commitment. He deliberately kept you in a convenient, low-effort, digital box. The truth you were blinded to: you were not his partner, you were his late-night emotional or physical convenience, a secret to be enjoyed when his real life was quiet. Sign number 4, you were his therapist, the emotional sponge. The behavior. The conversations, when you look back honestly, were overwhelmingly about him, his problems at work, his struggles with his ex, his grand ambitions, his feelings. He rarely asked deep, probing questions about your life, your dreams, your fears. The potent psychology. You were fulfilling the role of an emotional sponge, a free therapist. He was using your natural feminine empathy and your listening skills to process his own life, to make himself feel better, to feel seen. A man with genuine, reciprocal interest is deeply, insatiably curious about you. A user is only interested in how you can serve his emotional needs. The truth you were blinded to: it wasn't a deep, two-way connection. It was an unpaid, one-way therapy session where you were always the therapist and he was always the patient. Sign number 5, he kept you a secret, the ultimate disrespect. The behavior. You met very few, if any, of his real, significant friends or his family. When he was with them, you were not invited. He was always vague about who he was with or what he was doing. You existed in a bubble completely separate from his real day-to-day life. The potent psychology. This is one of the clearest, most unambiguous signs of a profound lack of genuine, long-term intention. A man who is proud of you, who is excited about you, who sees a real future with you, wants to show you off. He wants to integrate you into his tribe. A man who is using you, who is not sure about you, or who is actively hiding something or someone else, will meticulously, strategically keep you completely separate from his real life. The truth you were blinded to. You were not a partner he was proudly building a life with. You were a secret he was conveniently keeping. Sign number 6, the aggressive love bombing were the initial trap. The behavior. The beginning of your interaction was an absolute, intoxicating whirlwind. He showered you with intense, over-the-top affection, constant communication, and grand promises about your future together very, very quickly. It felt like a fairy tale, like you had finally found your soulmate. He said things like, "I've never felt this way about anyone before," or "You're the one I've been waiting for." The potent psychology. This is a classic, deeply manipulative dark psychology tactic known as love bombing. It is not genuine, organic emotion. It is a calculated, aggressive strategy designed to overwhelm your logical defenses and get you chemically, emotionally addicted to the intense high of his affection and validation. Once he senses you are hooked, he can then pull away and put you on the painful, addictive, intermittent reinforcement schedule we talked about in sign number 1, leaving you constantly, desperately chasing that initial, manufactured high. The truth you were blinded to. It wasn't that your connection was magical and so fast. It was a carefully manufactured psychological illusion designed to hook you quickly and deeply, before you had a chance to see his true, often empty character. Hearing these signs, recognizing them in your past, might be incredibly painful. It might make you feel foolish, naive. Do not. I want you to reframe that feeling right now. You were not foolish. You were hopeful. You were not naive. You were open-hearted. He was the one who was deceptive, who was manipulative, who lacked character. But now that painful experience becomes your ultimate power. This hard-won knowledge becomes your impenetrable shield. The never-again mindset is not about becoming cold, bitter, or closing your heart off to love. It is about becoming profoundly, powerfully discerning. It's about learning to value a man's consistent, respectful actions over his intense, intoxicating words. It's about seeing the truth. You are no longer blind. You are now the powerful, discerning gatekeeper of your own heart, armed with the knowledge, the wisdom, to see a user coming from a mile away. That is a priceless gift you have just given yourself. The 6 brutal, psychological signs he was using you, the inconsistent communication, the vague future plans, the digital late-night connections, the fact that you were his therapist, that he kept you a secret, and the insidious initial love bombing. Your story, your experience has immense power. In the comments section below, I want you to help me protect the sisterhood. What is the #1 most undeniable red flag you have personally experienced that screamed, "He's a user"? Your comment, your wisdom, could be the critical wake-up call that saves another woman from months or even years of heartbreak. Let's build an arsenal of wisdom together. If this video could give a friend of yours the 2020 hindsight she needs to heal, to understand, and to move forward with power and wisdom, share it. Let's arm more women with this crucial, protective knowledge. For more unfiltered, potent truths about psychology, recognizing red flags, and building a life of power, peace, and unshakable self-respect, make sure you have absolutely obliterated that subscribe button and have activated all notifications. Your wisdom is your shield. Never ever be a resource. Be the prize.